Alright, quick game plan for November 11th. I'm hoping we open misalign with this little low time frame range to the upside. And yeah, I want sells. That's pretty much it. DXY, you'd have to say high time frame and middle time frame wise, definitely bearish expectancy, but low time frame wise, bullish expectancy. Not sure how much of an influence it's going to have on XAUUSD's price action, just given the volume we've been seeing on gold recently. But yeah, that is what I'm hoping for. But I don't care that we already pulled down to 50%, because that pull down to 50% is actually out of character for our high middle time frame, right? We haven't been doing it at all through here. We do it here, so I'm expecting eventually the move to be to the downside. This is actually seen fractally as well on the high time frame. So yes, we did have an extensive pullback within this large move, same as here, but we hadn't been seeing that previously, so it's out of character for the high time frame, it's out of character for the middle time frame, looking to stack those abnormalities. Looking to stack those abnormalities and hopefully get a sell, like probably pretty early on into the hour, to be honest. Now, given how far down we are now, I do think there's potential for a scalp on open into this area. Ultimately, I do think the move is going to be like to the downside, but we'll see. Like DXY is coming into an area where you could expect a bearish pullback. Gold is looking synchronous, inversely, of course. So yeah, I just don't want this selling pressure to be overly immense. I want it to be relatively tame, and then I want to see that disproportionate reaction to the upside. So yeah, sells are winning right now. Very much so. Wow, that's crazy. Alright, so I just took buys right there. Not looking great right now. If you ask me right now, I'd say it's probably going to work out. I just like how we're moving right now. Lots of room to move as well. DXY obviously really favorable positioning. Alright, if we reject once more, I will close. Alright, so that's solid. Alright, just going to recap the thought process for November 11th, second hour of Asia. So initially, when I was doing my analysis, I think price was roughly in here, and I was ideally hoping for sells. I wanted an overextension beyond here. expected a overall move to the downside. Now, why is that? Well, high time frame is still bullish in my opinion at this time. However, we do have this abnormal pullback to the downside that we hadn't seen anywhere throughout the high time frame's character. Obviously, that means we're also within this bearish external move, obviously quite high up on it here. High middle time frame technically trending bullish, middle time frame bullish as well. I'd kind of consider this the high middle time frame right here, and middle time frame kind of just the last 4 to 6, 7 hours or so. I honestly didn't even say that on purpose. I want to kill myself. Within our middle time frame context, we were kind of right in here at the time. We were not formerly getting pullbacks to 50%. So where we got one here, I see that as an abnormality, stacking this middle time frame abnormality with the high time frame abnormality, with the fact that we are near the top of this external bearish move, which I'd kind of just consider a component to the high time frame, right? It's kind of in between the high time frame and the high middle time frame, in my opinion. All that stacked together with the fact that this bearish push was looking quite strong. I was expecting the result of this overall uptrend to be a move to the downside. Keep in mind, we also immediately pushed bullish on the day, on the open of that initial 4-hour candle. And we're obviously coming into the second hour of that, or third hour of that. So yeah, was overall expecting a move to the downside, ultimately to this extremity, and then, whatever happens there, who knows. All things considered, was probably expecting price to continue bearish, but that's reaching. So yeah, initial game plan, I wanted buys. Maybe I was a little bit optimistic to think it was going to overextend up here, and I kind of realized that as we got further and further within this move. I was like, okay, we're a little too deep to expect this overextension, but I figured if we pulled down into an ultimatum point with this trend right here, little low time frame misalignment into middle time frame continuation, I will gladly take a reaction into this area, provided that the move hasn't been filled. So yeah, we opened for the hour right here, drove bearish, got in right at 9 p.m. off of a tick reaction. Decent little scalp. Now, I saw a few people took a buy like later on, and that's a trade that I've taken a lot in the past, and it looks like pretty good in theory, like middle time frame continuation, good middle time frame relativity. But in this nuanced situation, I've personally, at least for me, I've found that it consistently loses, and I've completely outlawed taking this entry in this condition, because ultimately I see time and time again we move to the downside. Now, I'm going to go into particular what that condition is. It's super easy to identify, which is nice, but genuinely, guys, it's got to the point where I have enough losing entries in this position that I'm very confident if I wanted to, which I kind of do, I could invert this entry model and start taking sells here and consistently win. Now, that's a super, logically, that's easy to understand with the data. Emotionally, it's a little bit tough to understand because I just hate entering so deep within that move, right? Like the relativity is quite poor, low time frame wise. and we're getting buying pressure up that aligns with the middle time frame. So it just, I don't like it. I personally still prefer getting the buy-in here and trading that reaction, but I am only taking that move if this move is unfilled. The second this move is filled, which it was filled by this reaction to the upside, I'm no longer trading back into that, because ultimately I see the higher probability move being to the downside here. Okay, I'm just going to read this rule off exactly as I have it written in my notes, and then I'll explain it on the chart so that you can fully conceptualize it. If the low time frame misalignment move is stronger than the immediate push and it's aligned with the next external move and it's already filled, do not enter. Now it sounds like a fucking riddle or something, but it's gonna make more sense in a second. All right, so here we have the middle or the high middle time frame trend that we're looking to trade with. Zoom in here. Here we have the low time frame that we're misaligning out of, right? We're overextending out of this. And first thing to note is that this misaligning move is stronger than the respective push that you're trying to trade with. So that's one thing to look out for. Now if we zoom out here, the next external move is bearish. So at this point within the price action, our like immediate external structure is of course bullish, right? We're within this overall bullish trend, but the next external is this bearish move, and this move right here aligns with that next external move, and it is stronger than this immediate push up. So when this occurs, unless I can get a really decisive reaction and snipe an entry in here before this move to the downside is filled, I'm not taking an entry, right? This looks so messy, holy fuck. If I miss this initial move on the pullback here, I'm not taking an entry. It's as simple as that. More often than not, it just doesn't work out for buys in here from what I've seen. And yeah, that is why I was really hoping for the sell, but buys just happened to work out better for me. Yeah, overall move was to the downside. I think we got some, I don't know, there was some like algorithmic news shit that happened in New York, and I think we're super bullish now. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But yeah, that was the trade. Happy with the thought process and whatnot. So any questions, leave them in the comments.